I'ma keep it going. Hey, yeah, I'ma keep it going. As long as you show me, I'ma keep it going.
This year's 2024 MLB playoff race has been absolutely jam-packed. We had some really good wild card matchups over the past few days. Just to start off, we had the San Diego Padres versus the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves, really good team. San Diego Padres, one of the hottest teams in baseball over the past month, and they showed it. San Diego Padres ended up sweeping the Braves in a 3-game series by a score of 2-0, won 2-0. Made easy work of Atlanta. Then we had the Kansas City Royals versus the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore Orioles was the favorite to win this matchup. Kansas City Royals is definitely an underdog. They barely made it into the playoffs. Hey, the Royals swept these guys. Baltimore, very disappointing. They were, looked at as one of the favorites to even go all the way to maybe even the World Series to compete for a championship. Really good hitters, really good pitching. They had a guy named Gunnar Henderson, who's one of the best hitters in baseball, but they did not show up against the Kansas City Royals. They ended up getting swept by a series score of also 2-0, and they got swept at home. That was the worst part about it. Come on, Baltimore. You got to do better, man. You got to do better. Next up, we got the Detroit Tigers. Huge underdog. Detroit Tigers versus the Houston Astros. I was obviously going for the Detroit Tigers because if you don't know, well, now you're about to know. The Houston Astros have been one of the most cheating teams in baseball. Even though they have won a few championships over the past 5 to 6 years, they've been known to be cheaters. They stealing signs and doing all this extra stuff to try to win games. Just play the game the right way, man. You got the talent. Play the game the right way. But karma caught up to them. They got swept as well by a series score of 2-0, and they got swept at home. The Detroit Tigers, really, really hot team right now. Look out for the Detroit Tigers, man. And then last but not least, we have the New York Mets versus the Milwaukee Brewers. This is probably the best series out of the 4 wild card games. This series was tied 1-1, and then last night was the determining factor. Last night was a huge game, a really good game. They was playing in Milwaukee. The Brewers were winning majority of the game. It was 2-0 majority of the game, all the way up to about the 8th, 9th inning. The Mets ended up breaking the tie with a pinch hit home run by the polar bear. Pete Alonso hit an opposite field home run. Ridiculous power. He ended up hitting a 3-run home run, put the Mets up 3-0. Put the Mets up 3-2. They took the lead. Then the Mets ended up scoring one more run, making the score 4-2. Then they end up closing it out. Ended the game with a game-winning double play. Sealed the deal. Hats off to the Mets, man. So now just to kind of go into the next round, we have the San Diego Padres versus the Los Angeles Dodgers in the next round. That's going to be a huge matchup. I'm super excited just because I'm going to game 2 on Sunday. So I'm going to be live in effect in that game. It's going to be the atmosphere. I expect the atmosphere to be loud. I expect for the crowd to be sold out. This is Shohei Ohtani's first playoff appearance, first playoff game. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. I'm just excited for the whole Dodgers roster to just show up and perform. But we do have game 1 Saturday. So that's going to be the very first game of the series. San Diego Padres versus the Los Angeles Dodgers in LA, live in effect. Tune in. You feel me? Then we have the Detroit Tigers versus the Cleveland Guardians. This is going to be a really good matchup as well. Cleveland Guardians won the AL Central, the division. Really good record. They went 92-69 this year. Tigers barely made it in, but like I said, Tigers are really hot right now, and hey, this is going to be a really good series as well. Next up, we have the New York Mets versus the Philadelphia Phillies. These guys are both in the same division, so they know each other pretty well. They've been facing off each other throughout the season quite a bit this year, just in general. But Phillies, they're probably my favorite to win this game just because they have a crazy lineup with Bryce Harper, really good pitching, really good coaching staff, very smart team. And they've been honestly the most consistent team in baseball all year. Literally all year they've been the most consistent team. They have a guy named Kyle Schwarber, who's a really, really good hitter, veteran guy who can lead this team. He has a championship under his belt as well. So Hey, the Phillies are the favorite, but I'm going for the Mets. I want the Mets to win. I like that guy Frankie Lindor. Frankie Lindor is he's a really good baseball player. One of my favorite players in baseball. Shout out the Mets. I'm going for the Mets to win this series. Next up, we have the Kansas City Royals versus the New York Yankees. New York Yankees, man, they always been known to choke in the playoffs. I feel like this might be a different year for them. Their lineup is it's like a cheating lineup, you know. Like you got all these power hitters. Like everybody that come up to bat is a great hitter. It's like you can't catch a break if you're the other team. If you're the opposing team's pitching, pitching rotation. Kansas City Royals versus New York Yankees. This would be a really, really good matchup. Starting off in New York, game 1 and game 2. I'm excited to see what the Kansas City Royals are going to do, what they're going to throw at them, what type of, like you said, what type of pitching they're going to throw at them, or what type of defense, or how they're going to adjust to these power hitters that the Yankees have. So we're going to see, man. We're going to see this. This should be a very, very good divisional series. We have the NLDS, and then we have the ALDS. So this is a very good divisional series for everybody to tune into. But my favorites out of the San Diego Padres and the Los Angeles Dodgers series, of course, LA native here. You feel me? I'm going Dodgers, man. I'm going Dodgers. I don't think we're going to sweep them, but I think we can win this game in I want to say in 6 games. I said we win this game. I said we win this series 4-2. That's what I would say. That's my prediction. Moving on to the other NLDS game, Mets and Phillies. I got the Mets winning that one. Even though the Phillies are the favorite, I have the Mets winning that series. I feel like that game is going to be a really good series. It's going to go to 7. I think it's going to go to 7. I got the Mets winning this series by 4-3. That's what I would say. That's what I predict on that one. Moving on to the ALDS, the first game, we have the Cleveland Guardians versus the Detroit Tigers. I actually got the Cleveland Guardians winning this one. I'm not saying I don't think anybody's gonna get swept. They're all pros. They're just too good for all that. I think the Cleveland Guardians are gonna win this series in 6 games as well. I think they're gonna win 4-2. And then last but not least, we got the Kansas City Royals and the New York Yankees. I got the New York Yankees winning this one. I don't think the Yankees are gonna disappoint us right now. I think the Yankees are going to win in 5 games. I feel like the Yankees are going to win this series by a score of 4-1. So those are my predictions for the ALDS, these divisional series, and NLDS. And this year's 2024